What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with a little bit of Destiny, and today we are going to be talking about the Vanquisher VIII, which is a new Monarchy auto rifle. Now, I am running around with it here in PvP to give you guys a little bit of Crucible footage with this weapon. There's not much time left in this match, but I'm playing halfway decent with it, so you'll probably watch me die a few times here, because anytime I try to get Crucible footage for these videos, I play like really just absolutely terrible. But having a better game here, this game's almost over. I hope I can get at least a kill here to show you how this weapon performs. It's actually a fairly decent weapon in the game, and it looks like, unfortunately... Oh, we might get one here? Maybe? Maybe? There we go. But you guys kind of see a little bit of it there. It's a pretty decent auto rifle to use in the Crucible. And we'll go over some numbers and some statistics here. This is, like I said, one of my better games. I'm still trying to get used to playing my Warlock. I'm finally getting used to the blink jump using this class, but we'll go ahead and talk here about the Vanquisher VIII. I went 1.82 that match. Most of that was using the Vanquisher. I did use heavy machine gun a little bit here and there and a super twice, but that was pretty much it. Most of that match I did very well with this weapon, and I find it just depends on what map you're using it on. Depending on how good you can do. So let's take a look at the Vanquisher VIII. This is an auto rifle. It requires level 20. It has 331 maximum attack, and you actually get this from New Monarchy, vendor in the tower. So what I'm going to do real quick here is we're going to actually go, and you know what, actually I don't need to look at the one at the tower because I actually have the one from the tower. So we'll load up a little patrol action here so we can run down and show you guys how this works. Live, but you do get this, like I said, from New Monarchy, Executor Hideo in the tower. It requires New Monarchy rank 3, and you will need 150 Crucible marks to purchase this weapon. Now, the Vanquisher VIII is one of the last remaining decent auto rifles in the game. You can see it has actually pretty decent impact, which is comparable to the impact on Suros Regime. The range is okay, it's not the greatest. Stability is very high, the reload speed is decent. And it has an actually, an okay rate of fire, which I'll kind of show you here as we go over to our favorite little spot up on the rooftop over here to chat. But we'll take out some Fallen here, and I'm using one of the longer range scopes on this weapon. This is actually the only scope on the vendor version that I really like. I'm not a huge fan of any of the other ones on this weapon, and I'll show those all to you here in just a second. Just kind of letting you guys get a feel for this. You can see it's a very moderate rate of fire, higher impact auto rifle. Pretty good headshots on this thing. It reminds me, in a way, it's a little bit like the old Shadow Price, if you guys remember that weapon from the prior to the Dark Below. As you can see me blink fail all over the place here. I'm really just terrible with this jump. I'm trying to get used to it, and it's just one of the things I don't really like about... You know what? Screw this. Sorry, guys. This is just driving me a little nuts here. So I'm going to go back to using my regular Warlock little floaty jump that I know how to use and control very well. Not a huge fan of it in Crucible, but that's why I was trying to learn how to use Blink. Alright, so now that we're up here on the rooftop, we can talk a little bit about the Vanquisher VIII. Let's go in here, and you can see right from there, it's got a very nice looking, it's a nice looking weapon. It's got a nice paint job on it. It's one of the more colorful and unique looking auto rifles in the game. But again, this is a New Monarchy weapon, Executor issued auto rifle for loyal supporters of the New Monarchy. And again, you can see 331 attack, rate of fire is pretty moderate, as you saw just a few minutes ago. The impact is very high for the auto rifle, especially with the newer, high fire rate, low impact auto rifles. The range is not the greatest. This thing is pretty good if you're mid-range and closer. Mid-range is kind of the outskirts of its usefulness. If you're trying to use this from long range, it's like shooting pillows. It just does not have much punch from long range, and that's really what the last weapon patch 1.1.1. They made this really big adjustment to auto rifles where the damage drop off at range really falls off really, really fast. And if it was a higher impact auto rifle, the damage debuff really kicked in pretty hard. It was a very double-digit debuff, I believe, or nerf, if you want to call it that, on these higher impact auto rifles like the Vanquisher VIII and Suros Regime. But we'll go ahead and show you the different scopes. I am using the range lens RLS3. That's actually the only scope I really like on this weapon. It does give you a bit of a little bit longer range ability with it. But you can see there at long range it takes a while to even down just these Vandals here, just because the range drop off is pretty significant. I do like this scope. It gives you a fairly clear sight picture, and like I said, it gives you a little bit of a longer range advantage when you use this weapon. The other two scope options available, and then again, this is the vendor version, so this is exactly what you will get when you buy it in the tower. You have the Steady Hand IS, you have a little bit more stability and a little bit faster reload speed with a penalty to range when you use this. This scope is the one I used at first. It's okay. It gives you a pretty good sight picture, but from range it's not the greatest scope. You saw how the range dropped off when we were looking at it there. You can see I can barely hit anything when we're trying to, and you see it doesn't do much damage at range. Try to zoom in there, but don't have very good zoom on this scope, and auto rifles just in general are not very good from long range anymore, so it's something we have to get used to. And then the final scope on this weapon from the vendor is the Red Dot ORS1. You get a little bit of a boost to range and a little bit of a stability decrease there. This is an interesting sight. This is probably the kind of the go-between the first and the third sight. Again, it's kind of boxy, it takes up a little bit of your screen there, and I'm just not a very big fan of this scope. Not a big fan of any of the scopes that comes on this from the vendor. I'd say that's one of the biggest weaknesses of this weapon from the vendor, besides its small magazine size, which you'll see there is 22. That, for PvE, that really hurts this weapon quite a bit. I really wish it had at least Field Scout on it to get up to 42. My old Shadow Price I had Field Scout and Third Eye on it, and I dismantled it after Dark Blow came out like an idiot, and I really regret that now, because that was such a great auto rifle with this bigger magazine and the stability and the higher impact. So your main perks on this, and again, this is the vendor version, you get spray and play, increase the reload speed of this weapon when the mag is empty, and let's see, we'll just show you real quick here. This is the regular reload speed there. And then you can see how much faster it reloads when the magazine is empty. So that's definitely a really good perk on this, especially with the 22 round magazine. You're going to be reloading an awful lot. So when you're using this weapon, go ahead and just fire off that full clip. Don't reload mid-magazine or anything like that. You do have higher caliber rounds, oversized rounds built to stagger targets and leave them reeling. Makes the weapon harder to handle. I'm not a real big fan of this perk on this auto rifle, especially with fitted stock being available. You really want that higher stability on this to make it more viable at mid-range. And then you have single point sling, which some people may prefer this in the Crucible, because this allows you to move faster when you're aiming and switch weapons faster. So if you need to switch to a shotgun or a fusion rifle really quick to deal with somebody moving in on you, that's a good perk. But overall, the middle tree is kind of not very good other than the fitted stock. Now your other perk here, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the first perk, the glass half full. Bottom half of your magazine causes additional damage. That goes kind of hand in hand with spray and play. You really want to fire off that entire magazine, because when you get to round 11 and below, you're going to get a little bit of an extra damage boost. It's not huge, but it might help here and there, and I'll get into the actual numbers on that here in a minute. And then you've just got the rest of your upgrade damage tree. Now, when we're talking about the Vanquisher, in terms of doing damage on enemies, you are basically looking at headshot damage of 23, body shots of 19, and that is going to be, or I'm sorry, actually I just gave you guys the PvP stats. I apologize. Let me start over again. If we're talking about PvE, then this is going to be numbers pulled off of level 30 enemies versus a level 30 character. Now, if you're doing with just a regular enemy, you're going to get 123 damage for a body shot, 306 damage for a headshot, and that is, again, just on a normal level 30. If you're doing a level 30 major, you're going to do 123 to the bottom again, and only to the body again, and only 153 for a headshot. That's on those yellow bar enemies at level 30. Now, with the glass half full perk, this is the bottom half of the magazine, so the last 11 rounds. If you're using the vendor version, you will do 156 damage to the body and 317 damage to the head. Now that's kind of the higher number on there. You will you will have a little bit of discrepancy there. Like it might range from 310 to 317. There's a little bit of a range there. Now, when you are going up against a major, you will still do 125 damage to the body, and you will get anywhere from 159 to 162 for a headshot. So, not the greatest damage numbers. If you're talking about it compared to Suros Regime, which is still probably the pinnacle of auto rifles, you're not going to really get really close to the damage numbers that Suros can put out with its bottom of the magazine perk, the one that heals you and also does extra damage. That perk really does a ton of extra damage, so this is just not really going to compare. But it's still a really good auto rifle. Like I said, it's probably the best and this is my opinion, probably the best vendor auto rifle that you can actually buy with marks. So I would definitely grab this if you are an auto rifle fan and you're looking for a decent auto rifle in the age where we're dealing with all these very low impact, high rate of fire auto rifles. Now we get into the PvP stats. Unfortunately, I didn't get you guys a lot of footage there to watch at the start of this video, and I've been having connection issues all day today, so it's been kind of hard for me to stay in PvP matches. But you will get 23 damage with a headshot with this, and 19 damage with a body shot. If you're using glass half full, you'll get 24 to the head and still 19 to the body. I did not notice any significant jump in damage using glass half full pretty much in any capacity whatsoever. So not really a great weapon in PvP. The auto rifle nerf really hurt this gun overall for PvP. And I suggest if you're going to be using an auto rifle in PvP, you probably want to stick with Suros Regime and or get one of those high rate of fire ones and try to play up close, play close range with it. If you do want to take this into PvP, I recommend staying towards the towards the mid-range, maybe a little bit closer in order to get the best best out of this weapon with the range drop off. If you try to use this from range, you're basically using it like a t-shirt gun. It's not going to hurt anybody, and you're going to get taken down quite a bit from long range. But anyways, guys, that has been a look at the Vanquisher VIII. Like I said, this is a decent auto rifle from the vendor. The only real drawbacks, like I said, are the magazine size of 22, and you really don't have a great middle perk tree here, save fitted stock. And the scopes for me are the biggest drawback of the vendor version. I just do not like any of these scopes at all. I like the red dot ORS, like just the regular one. It's kind of a bit more clear. It's kind of like not the ACOG, but I'm trying to remember the site I'm thinking of from, just like the simple red dot site from Call of Duty. That's probably my favorite scope to get on the auto rifles, but overall not a lot of great scope options here. Now, you can get this weapon also from legendary primary weapon engrams. You can get it as a drop from the Nightfall Strike, and you can also get it in those packages that the New Monarchy will send you for every rank you hit above rank 3. That's actually why I'm still leveling New Monarchy. I'm trying to get one of these that has Field Scout and a little bit better perk setup. Though this isn't too bad, like I said, with the glass half full and the spray and play, as long as you're going through that entire magazine, which you will in PvE with such a small magazine, it's okay. It's not the greatest, but not the worst either. You probably are going to do better, though, if you can get a drop version of this that has some slightly better perks on it. But anyways, guys, this has been TechnoViking23 bringing you this little quick look and review of the Vanquisher VIII. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you use this weapon, if you like it, what you like about it. If you've managed to get any random perk rolls on it that are really good, I'd love to hear about those. But anyways, guys, I will talk to you later. I have a review I'm working on also for the Last Word exotic hand cannon that hopefully I can get that done. I just need to get some PvP time in with it to get some numbers, and then I'll hopefully have that up very soon. Anyways, guys, TechnoViking23 signing off from the Cosmodrome, and I will see you guys again next time. What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you here with a little bit of Crucible gameplay using the Vanquisher VIII. Now, I was unable to get much Crucible gameplay at the beginning of the weapon review, so I wanted to jump on here and try to get some footage here from a match in the Crucible. Now, of course, we are starting off terribly here and losing very badly, so don't expect much great gameplay here, but I will try my best to get some decent footage and let you guys see how this weapon works in PvP, just so you can get a good idea. So sit back, guys, and hopefully this won't be too bad, and you can see how this gun works in the Crucible. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you again next time.
Zone C neutralized. Zone C captured. Heavy ammo inbound. Heavy ammo available. Zone C lost. Zone A neutralized. Enemy captured Zone C. You captured Zone A. Zone A lost. Enemy captured Zone A. You've lost them all. They've got total control. Prove your worth, Guardian. Zone C neutralized.
Alright guys, well you can see that didn't go so well for my team at least. Got doubled up there. Not a great match in the Crucible, but hopefully you at least were able to see a little bit of how this weapon handles. It's pretty solid in the Crucible. I did pretty good there with 1.29, which is not too bad for me. But overall, the Vanquisher is a very solid auto rifle. It does very well in the Crucible. I wasn't using the greatest scope there, and that was kind of a smaller, close-range map, so not a great auto rifle map there. And you can see there a couple times I got just weird spawns where I'd spawn and a guy with a shotgun standing there right next to me. So overall, not a great game, but I thought I did okay, and you guys at least could see a little bit of how the Vanquisher works there in the Crucible. So anyways, guys, once again, I'm going to say I will see you again next time.